Hey, what's going on, guys? It's your boy here, Killer Keemstar. No. Story time. New series where I tell stories about my life. All these 100% true. I've already told this story and I clicked circle and it deleted everything of what I told. So, I'm gonna get through this fairly quickly. Me and Devin, me 6th grade, Devin 7th grade, were walking, because, you can walk home from school. That's how it works. And there was a kid who walked with us. His name was Will. Will and his little sister. Will wasn't... I didn't really know Will. Like, I had a class or two with him. But his little sister, oh my god. We would walk, and all she would do was call me names. Like, one that sticks in my head, and I remember, even to this day, is she called me a cold bag of soup. I don't understand what that means, so if you guys can tell me what that means in the comments, that would be fantastic. But she would call me names, and this was almost for the entire year. Like, there was like a month or two left of school, and one day, no reason other than saying to say this, she was like, "You stupid piece of fucking shit, dumbass fucking N-word." And by N-word, I mean she said the actual word ending with an ER. And I was like, whoa, you shouldn't be using those kind of words against me. You know, those are kind of harsh. And Will gets angry at me because I'm talking to his sister about whatever. Stupid reasons. Will talks about stupid reason. And he's like, hey, don't talk to my sister like that. I'll handle it. Or not I'll handle it. He's like, if anything's wrong, I'm going to handle it. As in, if you say something, I'm gonna beat your ass. He didn't say that, but I knew that's what he meant from it. Like, I could tell. And I'm like, oh, so you're gonna handle it. And he's like, yeah, I am. So shut your fat ass mouth before I shut it for you. And I'm like, excuse me? And he's like, I'm not gonna say this again, Tubby Lumpkins. And okay, first of all, I don't know what the hell a Tubby Lumpkins is. That's whatever. He pushes me. And I say, I understand you're angry about whatever. Don't touch me like that. And he said, or what? And then he punches me in the stomach as hard as he can, but it doesn't hurt at all. Like, because I've got abs of steel. That, and he was a little kid, and little kids can't really, like, aren't physically made to be like One Punch Man. Whatever. Anyway. He hits me in the stomach, and I just... Because the thing is, don't be the guy who throws the first punch, because you're gonna get in more trouble than the kid who is just get in the fight. Like, if you throw the first punch, you're in trouble. And I didn't throw the first punch, so what my mom told me is, don't throw the first punch, but make sure you throw the last one, which means, you know, make sure you win the fight if they hit you first. Which I did. I demolished this poor boy. Like, I broke his arm, too. Which, you know, in all honesty, was a little excessive. Like, I did the thing in the movies where I put my left hand on his elbow and my right hand on his wrist, and I just went and, like, I snapped his arm backwards. And, like, he's sitting there screaming in pain, and I just walk away with Devin. Or, no, I don't. Devin wasn't there that day. Devin was sick. Anyway. Next day, Will, broken arm in a cast, left hand, not his dominant hand, whatever. He shows up, and instead of just being like, look, I understand I was being a little mean yesterday, but you didn't have to go and break my arm, because I would have been like, well, I'm sorry, it was excessive, I shouldn't, no. You don't get your ass kicked by somebody because you're starting trouble with them, and then proceed to try and do it again. Because he shows up, and he's like, dumb queer, you dumb fat queer, I'm gonna beat your ass. And I'm like, what? and he hits me in the face, in the cheek, like in the jaw, really. And look at me, he's like, ow! Welp! Like, guess what's happening now, fellas? And I proceeded to beat ass. And after a extended amount of ass beating, the assistant principal, don't remember her name, it was like Mrs. Jordan or some shit like that, she came outside and she was like, "What are you two kids doing? Oh my god, I am going to call your parents." Oh. I don't even know what that was. I'm sorry. And she was like, "I'm gonna call your parents. You're gonna be in so much trouble, young man." And I'm like, "Me?" And she's like, "Yeah, you're beating up this student with a broken arm." Now, Mr. Downey had some other words to say. Mr. Downey was my principal. He was one of the chillest guys I have met in my life. I miss him because, I mean, like, he was the coolest. Like, at the end of the year, every year, him and a bunch of other teachers, who also I liked and liked me, would put on this big show, like it was like a talent show kind of thing, where kids would come up and sing and dance and play music and stuff. And at the very end of it, Mr. Downey would come on stage and do this big show with a bunch of other teachers, where he'd be like, I'm trying to, Jailhouse Rock. He did Jailhouse Rock one year, and it was pretty funny. Not funny as in like, oh, it's a stupid, like, funny as in like, he knew all the lyrics too. So he'd been studying. And like, we were friends. Like, I'd show up and I'd file, I'd clean, I'd sit in there and wait for Mr. Downey to be like, "Alright, we'll not drive you home. I'll wait with you outside until your parents show up." And, you know, whatever. He saw everything that happened. He was like, okay, he knew that Will started trouble. So I was like, okay, I'm fine. I'm not gonna get in trouble, it's fine. Mr. Downey shows up, goes to the assistant principal and is like, "I'll take care of this." Now, the assistant principal isn't looking at him. She's just talking, and then she's, like, looking at us, but talking to him, and she's like, "Sir, I don't know who you are, but you need to not mind your own business, because this is on school property, and I have to call these students." "Oh, Mr. Downey," like, as she's looking at him. And he's like, "Josh, my office." Ma'am. "Excuse me, miss." He was like, "Judy, take Will and sit him outside my office." And now Mr. Downey's talking to me, and he's like, you were beating him up pretty good." And I was like, "Thanks." And he's like, "So you, like, was there a reason all this happened?" And I was like, "Well, yesterday, you know, his sister called me a bunch of names, and one of them including the N-word, and I didn't much care for it, so I asked her to stop, and Will tried to fight me because of it." And Mr. Downey was like, "Well, you've never really lied before about this kind of stuff, so I'm gonna believe you, plus what I saw. So I'm gonna get Will in here, you know, just to hear his side of the story, because I have to, even though I know you win." And I was like, "Alright." And then Will comes in the room, and he gives this big sob story. He's like, "Oh my god, Mr. Downey, I'm so sorry you had to see that. It's just, Josh was threatening my sister, and he was threatening to beat her up because she was always talking to him. And then I was like, don't talk to my sister like that. And then he broke my arm, and then I tried to confront him today, and then he started hitting me again. Blah, 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 sob, sob, sob." Mr. Downey looks at him with a straight... I just hit the mic, I'm sorry. Mr. Downey looks at him with a straight face and goes, "You realize I saw all of what happened today and heard what you said, right?" And he's like, "No, you couldn't... You must have not heard the words right, because you've got... Like, you're old and your ears don't work proper." Oh boy, you sealed your fate when you call Mr. Downey an old man and said he's losing his hearing. He was like, alright, Josh, you can go. I'm gonna sit here with Will until his parents show up. And then I'm gonna tell them what happened. And then I'm like, alright. And I go out and sit outside the door, but leaning against it so I can hear Mr. Downey being like, first of all, son, I don't care what kind of mental state you're in right now. Whether it be you're sad, angry, confused. You don't make fun of me or call me old. At all. Because you were trying to sob story me, and you told me that I'm old and can't hear properly. That is like going to a restaurant and saying, please don't spit in my food, sir. I know your cooking's already horribly disgusting and gross. Like, that's what he said. I was like, my man. So, long story short. You know, I didn't get in trouble, by the way. Nothing happened to me negative. Other than I had to beat a kid up twice in 2 days. Long story short, don't be a bully. And, yeah, don't be a bully, be a friend. Be a buddy, as the kids... Don't be a bully, be a buddy. By the way, here's the thing, like, boom, and then pow, and that's the end of the game. That's literally kill cam. Don't be a bully, be a buddy. Don't start fights. If circumstances need be, and you have to fight somebody, do not throw the first punch, because you are going to get in trouble. So just let him, like, it's okay if he hits you in the face. Like, just be ready for him to hit you, and then it's completely fine. Now, don't start the fight. Be a buddy, not a bully. What's another word? Oh, and respect your elders. Like, don't just straight up be like, oh, well, Mr. Downey, you're old, and you didn't understand what you said. You don't understand what I'm saying. Because you're not going to win arguments like that, son. Anyway, this is going to be the end of the gameplay. I want to thank you guys for the support you've been giving me and Tyson on the channel. Remember to like, remember to comment, remember to subscribe, and share the video if you would like to help the channel grow. And anyway, guys, this is going to be the end of the video. Take